morning. Are you all prepared to proceed on the motion to revoke?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Court is calling 2022 CR 5498W, State of Texas versus Josue Carvajal. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense?
Efrain Torres Jr. for Mr. Carvajal.
And are you Mr. Carvajal?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and state's motion to supplement pending motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke probation with your attorney? And did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Are you the same Josue Carvajal who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 5498W for the offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle on June 7th, 2022 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. On the supplemental motion, Your Honor, violated conviction number 4 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Jose Carvajal did that in there, failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of March 2024 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
Your Honor, will waive the condition.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor, and that is to grant the motion and revoke the individual from his probation to sentence him to 180 days in the Bexar County, in the state jail facility.
All right. Counsel, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Please.
So what has he done on probation?
Judge, I believe he's completed IOP. I also believe he's paid about $1,000 towards his fees, Judge. The rest of it was not able to be complete, Judge. I believe Mr. Carvajal can explain it to you if you wish.
All right. Do you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Josue Carvajal Isaiah.
Why didn't you report in March?
I did not report in March because I was having, honesty. There's family, basically my grandfather was dying. He was gonna be no longer here, and I wasn't there with my father, and it was just too much for me. I couldn't come in.
Oh, did you pick up the phone and call probation and said, my grandfather is dying, I can't come in?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Oh, wait a minute. Do we have proof of this? Ms. Abrams, he said he called probation and said he can't come in, his grandfather is dying.
Judge, I'd have to take a moment to review all of the photos.
All right. So you're saying you called them?
I
Did you call him or you left the voice?
I left a voicemail.
Oh, okay. So they should have a voicemail if you left it. And is there anything else you wish to say?
And as well, I became a father at a very young age, ma'am. I just wanted to get this out of there. I became a father at a very young age. I have children of 1, 2, and 3-year-olds. And they've been my main priority, and I know it as well. Probation had to be one of my main priorities, but I couldn't balance both out. So I felt deeply at completing my probation.
Okay, so you have a 1, 2, and 3-year-old. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, ma'am.
And how old are you?
20, ma'am.
All right, so why would you're 20 years old, you have a criminal case for unauthorized use of a vehicle. At some point in time, you continue to have children, even though you were on probation. Why are you doing this to your children?
Well, I had taken them onto my wing, and one of them is mine.
So there's a mother out there who wants you to take her 2 children under your wing, knowing that you have criminal history.
Yes, ma'am.
And then she has a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. Are the 2-year-old and 3-year-old your biological children?
No, ma'am.
All right, so she has a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and then she decides to choose you to have another child. So now you all have a 1, 2, and 3-year-old in the house. I don't understand why people are making these, what appears to be horrendous decisions. Children are a blessing, but children are expensive.
Yes.
And probation is looking to see if you actually called. Because this is not your first time before the court on a motion to revoke.
Correct, Judge.
And so I'm just trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to give you what you're asking for or going to give you something more.
There was a telephone call stated that he had COVID and he wanted to schedule. That was on March 8th.
Judge, I believe that was a mixture of both. I think his grandfather was already ill and passing away, and he was also ill himself.
Yeah, he didn't say that. When I questioned him, he didn't tell me that. If I'm wrong, let me know. But when I asked him what the issue was, he said his grandfather was passing,
Yes.
and he said he left a telephone message with probation saying that his grandfather was passing. That was what he told me what was going on in his life. Is there something that I did not hear?
No, I'm sorry, Judge, and you're correct. It's just that when we were having our conversations there, we did go over that, Judge, and he did mention that, Judge. And I'm sure Josue is nervous, Judge. He understands the punishment that you can potentially give him. He's never been to the state jail facility. He's never even been to a prison. He's 20. I'm sure he's nervous, Judge. But nevertheless, he did tell you he did call. He was on the record, Judge, and that is accurate.
All right, so his previous criminal history,
Yes, Judge.
it's always dismissed, defendant convicted of other, dismissed, defendant convicted of other. And that's the harboring a runaway from
Correct.
County Court 8, dismissed, defendant convicted of other. Theft of a firearm, dismissed, defendant convicted of other. Another theft of a firearm, which I'm assuming occurred at the same time, based upon the cause number, dismissed, defendant convicted of another. County Court 8, unlawfully carrying a weapon, defendant dismissed, defendant convicted of other.
Correct, Judge.
Possession case, dismissed, defendant convicted of other. Then he had the evading arrest or detention. He was sentenced, probation revoked. And then the possession of marijuana, dismissed, defendant convicted of other. So it doesn't appear that he's learning anything.
Well, Judge, I think all those cases, I think either they were all within an incident or within a time frame, Judge.
Yeah.
But since he's been placed on probation, Judge, which is about 2 years ago, he has not picked up any new number ones,
Mhm.
Judge. He's had difficulty balancing probation, like as you mentioned. He obviously took on other responsibilities that maybe he shouldn't have, but he hasn't picked up any new charges, Judge. He hasn't been out there causing problems to the community, maybe doing damage to himself by not obviously following the conditions that he was required to do. But nevertheless, Judge, he's not out there picking up new charges. As I had also represented him back then, told him, hey, you cannot be doing this. You're too young for this. You had also warned him as well when he first got on probation, Judge. So I know it's been a challenge for him, but he's eager to get this behind him, Judge, and take responsibility. And he is aware that you can punish him. Up to the max, which is 2 years, Judge. We hope that that's not the case. But nevertheless, Judge, what he's told you here today, like you mentioned, the phone call, it did occur. And I know it's not reflective of the type of person he is on the MTR that you have in front of you, Judge, but we're hoping that you would consider following the recommendation and allowing him just to try to move forward, Judge.
Did you obtain your GED?
No, ma'am, I'm actually trying to get it right now.
No. You've been on probation with the court for 2 years. Well, minus 3 days. Did you obtain your GED?
No, Your Honor.
Did you obtain a certificate from a trade school?
No, Your Honor.
Did you complete the MRT program?
No, Your Honor.
So basically, you haven't done anything. You didn't really report all the time you were supposed to report. The drug testing levels haven't been the best. It's riddled with failures to submit positive. And then you would have 3 months of negative. Then you come back with dilute, fail to call, fail to submit, dilute. And then you'd have some negatives. Then again, it would be fail to call, fail to submit, fail to call. So this is where we are, and this is what I will do. You have a choice. Here are your choices. I'll send you to the state jail facility for 18 months, or either you can stay on probation and complete this probation. And you're going to be extended for 2 more years. And I will tell you, the only reason why I'm considering it, extending it for 2 years is because somebody has thought that you're a great catch. You now have a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old that somebody decided that you would be the perfect father. So those are your choices. 18 months in the state jail facility, or either you're going to be extended for 2 years on this probation.
Okay.
Extend, Your Honor.
All right, court is going to deny the motion. Alter and amend conditions. Extend for 2 years. There's going to be the UA hotline.
Your Honor, if I may I have the sweat patch again?
No. Here's the thing. You were looking at going to the state jail facility, potentially for 2 years. We can go off the record. I don't know what's happening with society, what we're in. There used to be a saying that beggars can't be choosers. Now everybody who's begging want to choose. If somebody is standing on the corner and they're trying to get money from you because, oh, I'm out of work or this is happening, and you want to give them $2, well, that's not enough. If you want to offer somebody food, well, you know what? Thank you so much for the chicken, but I prefer steak and lobster. You were looking at going to the state jail facility because you've done horrible on probation, and now you're trying to tell me what you prefer. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can go back on the record. It's going to be the UA hotline until further notice. You need to get employment. So is the mother of these 3 children working?
Yes, she's actually running the business that I have right now.
Running what business?
She's working with my father.
And what does your father do?
He sells tacos.
Sells tacos?
Yes, ma'am.
And who watches the children?
My mother.
People just out here having children and wanting their grandparents, the children's grandparents, to be mothers and fathers. They're not supposed to be doing that. Here's the thing. When you have a child, guess what? You're supposed to be figuring out what daycare is going to be, how much they're going to cost. It shouldn't be built in. Oh, my grandparents will watch the children. That's what y'all are supposed to be doing. Instead, y'all are playing house out here, just having a bunch of children. I can't even imagine taking care of a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. The 1-year-old is in diapers. The 2-year-old is most likely in diapers. And since you all are not being good parents, the 3-year-old is probably in diapers, and nobody's talking to the children to educate them. They're just running around doing whatever. And then they end up going to preschool maybe, or going to school, and nobody has taught them anything. And they go to school and they want the teachers to be a parent to the children, which they're not supposed to be. Newsflash, teachers are just supposed to be educating your children. They're not supposed to be at the school teaching them values. That's supposed to be your job. And neither you or the mother are doing any of that. Y'all are just laying around having a bunch of children and passing it on to the grandparents. You're going to get a job, and it's not going to be selling tacos, because there are only so many tacos that you can sell in San Antonio. Everybody here has a taco stand. And unless you're bringing something unique with your tacos, nobody's going to try to find you or find your parents and say, let me get tacos from this person. You understand? And are you all living on government housing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's a good thing. All right, so there's to be a hotline until further notice. You are either going to get your GED, or you're going to get a certificate for some type of trade school. Welding is great. Being a plumber is great. So you can do any of those things. Go look it up. They have it at St. Philip's. They have it everywhere. Find you a lucrative trade, because guess what? If the 1, 2, and 3-year-old decide to go to college, prices when they get ready to go to college is going to be outrageous. You're looking at a mortgage. For that 1-year-old, it's probably going to be $200,000 to send them to college. And all of this thing where you're just going to undergrad, where you're just getting your BA, that is not even enough anymore. Just getting your master's is not enough anymore. You understand? So GED or trade school, And we're going to restart intensive outpatient treatment with probation. And there's going to be 120 sober support meetings in 120 days. Parenting classes, and once he completes parenting classes, 100 hours of community service will be deemed satisfied. And once he obtains his GED or some sort of trade school certificate, 100 hours will be deemed satisfied. And the court is ordering 200 hours of community service restitution. So once you complete all of those things, then it will be deemed satisfied. And I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. And then thereafter at probation's discretion. And please tell probation to check on the children. Probation, is there anything else?
Already, that is too much out.
Yes. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
God bless you.
Have a seat.